Shalom. First and foremost, want to give all praise and honor to the apostles, exaltation of brothers for pushing his word in truth and sincerity and maturity and risking their lives and freedom to do so. Coming at you with another lesson on identifying quick scripture today. It was just nice and quiet before this lesson. Saying doing his job and we gotta do ours. So hey man, Jake is fucking he tried to have a conversation with Jake, and the more they talk, the more you realize that these motherfuckers don't really know a damn thing. And the shit that they believe in, man, it's just some bullshit. Hey, call from all light, how about me outside? Lord, open our eyes, and we in the truth, man. Hey, these motherfuckers out here are completely bugged out. They lean onto their own understanding. They think their way is the right way, and ultimately it leads unto death. But then I gotta teach you that these churches, because at the end of the day, what they want you to do is just that. Lean onto your own understanding, and do as thou will. As long as you give money and you're enticing into their baskets, they don't care. They're not gonna teach you what you're doing is wrong. The scripture says, "Look out that voice like a trumpet, show my people their transgressions." All right, they're not gonna do that in these churches, man. They're not gonna tell you a damn thing what you're doing wrong, how you going about it, and how do you do right, and how to truly serve the Lord. Because at the end of the day, what they want is your money. All right, they just want your money. They do this thing for a filthy lucre sake, man. All right, people out here and tell you what you want to hear. But nah, we have to be doers of the words and not hearers only. And Jake is heavy to be only hearers, man. And hearing the soothings, soothsayings, and what's comfort to them. Hey, I remember this one Jake. Just started a new gig. And we ended up breaking bread, shit. I ain't gonna lie. I ended up breaking bread. And he's all with it. He everything, Esau being the wicked, the self-proclaimed white man. And we're being the son of gods. We are gods. Hey man, Esau going to slavery, all these whole lot days, wicked holidays is bullshit. The Israelites, he loved it. He was dealing with it. And then it came lunchtime. We went to this one spot, I forgot what the fuck it was. And then he was like, "What you gonna get?" I'm finna give you were like so swag, so bullshit. I said, oh yeah, nah. I said, nah, that's just swine. Can't be eating swine. Lord, that's not dietary law. Boy, his ass, it's like a light switch. He said, what? No, I can't go without my pork. He said some shit like, I can't go without swine. Nah, I can't give up my swine. And that's what it is, man. It's all cool with them until, no, you can't commit adultery. What? Hey, you got to keep the Shabbat. What? You can't do nothing? You can't, and there's lots to do with Shabbat, and edifying and exalting Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. Jake only put themselves first and think of themselves. They can't humble down. Shit. Jake is just so simple, man. And I'm gonna bring out the scripture, Matthew 7:13. It says, enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. Because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are raving wolves. Alright? These false prophets ain't going to tell you these things, man. Go into that straight gate, that hardship, that discipline. Not the broad way, leaning onto your own understanding and what this world promotes. That's going to lead to destruction, man. But they're not going to teach you these things in these churches, man. Because at the end of the day, they just want your money. And that's why Jake's out here all fucked up. At the end of the day, the Lord, blinded him. Isaiah 69. I believe 69, 96. Yeah, 69. Made their ears fat. Shut their eyes. That's a paraphrasing. But Jake got it all fucked up. Double-minded, unstable in all their ways, man. You got Jake that'll tell you that they're Israelites, but they can't stop getting linings. They can't stop shaving their heads. They can't stop eating that holiday ham. And they know they're Israelites. You got people that quote scriptures. They'll quote this one right here. This is reason why I really bring this scripture out, because motherfuckers really quote this scripture out and then fucking cut themselves, man. Having no understanding. Jake ass is fucking simple, man. No, but we're supposed to enter into that straight gate, man. Alright? That leads to life. Esau teaches Jake a fucking death style, man. It's not a lifestyle out here. Coming to serve the Lord, as the scripture has said, that's the lifestyle, man. Alright. Well, let me get Matthew 7:13 again. It says, enter ye in the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. Because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are raving wolves. Call long like how watching me outside. The one is the edifying lesson. Until next time, shalom and a